Hello, my name is Andy Williams. My wife and I, we live in Beaver Creek, Ohio, and I am a retired industrial plumber, retired from General Motors. And we got on the Relive products and came into the Relive business 9 years ago. And I have been a type 1 insulin-dependent diabetic for 45 years. And I was a skeptic when we got started on these products. So I thought, what is powder in a can going to do for me? To my surprise, I saw no results the first 30 days, but after that, things started happening and they haven't stopped. Before Relive, I suffered from what's called diabetic retinopathy, blood vessel growth in the eyes. I had laser treatment to cauterize those blood vessels, and that left my eyes with tension on the retina. So for 15 years, that's what I heard at every eye exam. We got on Relive, had been on for 6.5 months, and I went for my yearly exam. Doctor scared me. He looked at me for so long, I knew something had to be wrong, so I said, what's the damage? He said, Andy, your eyes look wonderful. It's the best they've ever looked, and there's no longer any tension on your retina. And consequently, my macula has gotten healthier and healthier. My last visit with him, he said, the retinopathy is so far regressed, he doesn't think it's coming back. And I told him as long as I stayed on the Relive shakes, I didn't think it was coming back either. The other issue was diabetic neuropathy in my feet. The soles of my feet were numb, total mobility restricted, and my doctor said, Andy, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just going to get worse. Well, it took me 2.5 years, but at the end of 2.5 years, I had full feeling in the bottom of my feet. I'm wiggling all 10 toes in my shoes right now, and we just praise the Lord, that he chose to answer our prayers through Relive. But the major problem I was having, I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I'm on an insulin pump, monitor it very closely, but I had lost the ability to feel my blood sugars going low. And I was experiencing 40 to 50 low blood sugars a month, which is a nightmare, and my wife's stress level was through the roof. And after about 3.5 months on the Relive products, low blood sugars practically disappeared, the highs came down, life got livable again, and I've averaged 2 to 3 lows a month for coming up on 9 years now. So Relive didn't just stop the deterioration. It actually reversed the damage in my eyes, reversed the damage in my feet. I've got the ability now to feel low blood sugars coming on again. And like I say, just praising the Lord and thanking him for the Relive products. The thing is that besides that, the only medication that I take is the insulin in my pump. I'm medication-free other than the insulin, and I'm 62 years old, been diabetic 45 years, and it's a rarity to not be loaded up on pharmaceuticals. But Relive has prevented me from having to take those medications that the doctors keep trying to throw at you. The thing is that when people see the changes in your appearance and your body, they want to know what you're doing. And as we've shared this blessing with other people, and I will say, diabetics are very tough nuts to crack, very difficult. But as we helped other people get on these products and change their lives, we actually started to earn an income. We earn anywhere from a few hundred up to $1,000 a month, and it's starting to grow as we're talking to more people. But the thing is that to have a blessing like this that we can share with other people, and there are literally people around the world that have been helped with these products, and they can't hurt you, they can only help you. And we're just so thankful that the Lord brought Relive into our lives, because the best benefit I got is my wife back from fibromyalgia. And like I say, we just are so thankful that we heard that radio advertisement from Joyce and Wes Ferguson and answered that call.
That's wonderful, Andy. Yeah, I didn't realize your wife had the fibromyalgia. That's wonderful. And here you are. You're not, other than the insulin, you don't have to take any of those other drugs. That's just really great. So you received a blessing, and now you are being a blessing to other people. That's a wonderful
Amen.
thing. Wonderful thing. Thanks so much for sharing on here today. We're going to come out here to Washington now to Greg and Gail Johnson. Greg and Gail, are you out there?
We sure are. Thanks, Mary, for asking. We are Greg and Gail Johnson from Olympia, Washington, and we're introduced to Relive about 13 and a half years ago. And, oh, guys, I could tell you I was a really healthy person. I was taking handfuls of vitamins, the over-the-counter vitamins, was approached by my sister that asked me if I'd try this product. She had been on it a week and thought her mind was playing tricks on her. She had so much more energy. And so I set aside all those over-the-counter vitamins and started on Relive. And, oh, guys, I worked as a paraeducator in our schools. That's like a teacher's assistant with a special needs child. I was also respite caring afterwards. Their family had adopted 4 Down syndrome children. So, boy, I'll tell you, I was pretty tired when I came home. But what I was finding is that I had more energy, more productive hours to my day, sleeping more soundly. And oh, guys, then I started noticing little things like my fingernails started getting stronger, no longer splitting and peeling, getting those ridges on them. And I thought, oh, my goodness, I've got a hold of something that is so different than what I'd experienced with just my other vitamins. So, continued to take the products. I'm now in my mid-60s, but one of the things that I dealt with was headaches. Oh, guys, for 30 years of my adult life, I dealt with really bad headaches that would go into migraines. And after getting on these Relive products, I was finding that the headaches were not going into migraines. And then after about a month and a half or so, I wasn't getting headaches anymore. Oh, guys, that was huge for me. I was taking extra strength Excedrin, taking really hot baths. I would lose peripheral vision. They were excruciating. And this, for me, was life-changing. And then when they introduced the LunaRich into our basic nutrition, I found that my cholesterol dropped 41 points in the 3 months that I was on. And, that was another, little bonus thing for me. But I love these products. But I'm going to turn the phone over to my husband and have him share his results. This is Greg.
Thank you, Gail.
Hi,
Greg,
folks.
I think she likes that stuff.
I think she does. Well, I'm Greg. I'm a retired school principal, and I've been a type 2 diabetic for about 17 years now. And I'd been healthy, I thought, gone in for a routine annual physical, was stunned to be told that I'd gone into full-blown type 2 diabetes, and I was concerned because I'd seen complications in family members and friends. So I immediately set a goal for myself to get my blood sugars back below the diabetes level. And I worked with my doctor for the next 4 or 5 years, doing all the traditional things he recommended, eating more nutritiously, exercising more, losing weight. It all helped, but I was not getting my blood sugars below the diabetes level. Then, as Gail said, we were both introduced to the Relive products and started taking them. And it was a good thing that Gail got almost immediate results that caught my attention, because it's finding that diabetes doesn't respond really quickly. But she kept encouraging me to take the products every day and got me on calls like this. And after about 3 months, I noticed my blood sugars were going down slowly but steadily. And after a year on the products, not only were my blood sugars below the diabetes level, but also my cholesterol and blood pressure were back into the normal range, whereas they'd been begun to be elevated before, and the doctor had talked to me about the medications that I didn't want. So I'm very, very thankful for that, and I've got no complications now after 17 years with the disease whatsoever. I'm healthy and can do the things that I want, so I'm very thankful for Relive.
And I love the fact that he doesn't snore anymore at night. So, guys, I keep him on this product if it was just for that alone. But, we joined the company right away after, about a month. I mean, I just wanted to get the products at the best price, but I wasn't going to sell them. Oh, guys, I'm not a salesperson, didn't want to be a salesy person. But you know what? How can you help and not share? And so we started getting excited about what we were seeing with it, and we did start sharing. And then our friends started getting results, and then the company started sending us checks. And those checks started to grow until we were making consistently $1,000. It's been as high as $2,000. We're both retired now, and I'll tell you, we love the business. We love the products, and we haven't missed a shake for 13 and a half years, and I think that this is why we're so healthy. So love Relive, and this is our nutrition for life.
Greg and Gail, thank you so much for sharing. And Gail, I remember so well that, when you talk about sharing and being a salesperson, you were at school one day and somebody said, boy, I wish I could get some energy. And, well, what can you say?
I know. Let me talk.
Yeah.
So
it's like telling people, hey, peaches are on sale at Safeway and they're 39 cents a pound and they're big and juicy. You better get there.
You're right,
Relive pays you for doing that. Isn't that
That's
awesome?
Exactly right.
Just kind of a natural part of life to share, isn't it?
Plus, you make a whole host of friends when you join Relive.
Tell me about it. We
family.
live not far apart, but we probably would have never met had it not been for Relive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Love you, Mary.
Love you too. All right. Thanks so much for sharing.
You bet.
We're going to go to Nebraska now to Darla Posner. Darla, would you hop on here and tell us how Relive has changed your life?
Oh, absolutely. Can you hear me okay, Mary?
You bet.
All righty, very good. Well, I'm so excited to be able to share and what awesome stories you have on this call tonight and blessing people's lives and just thinking of all those people that are just getting those life-changing results both with their health and their finances. And, my husband and I took a look at this 11 and a half years ago, and, we were praying for answers for another family member, but we were not looking for anything else to do. We already owned two traditional businesses that owned us. We worked 80-plus hours a week. We had no time to go and do anything else and have the fun. We did that for 38 years. But, as we were working our business, we had quite a bit of stress in our life just because, we weren't getting enough sleep. We were chronically tired. And we had an issue where we had a downturn in our business because of a doctor that had to go to work for his dad because his dad was in very poor health. So he stepped away, and we were without a bottom line for several months. And so that really put us into a lurch, and that's when I actually came down with a condition called internal shingles. And, I was that severe where my back and my neck always hurt. My arm hung at my side. I couldn't use my two fingers and my thumb on my right hand. So, I was just pretty much hopeless. And so that didn't help our situation any either. And I was on a journey to find some way to be able to get the function of my arm back, but also to get out of the pain and be able to sleep and eat again. Just because I was so consumed in the pain, I was just coming apart at the seams. And, we prayed desperately hard for another family member because the medical profession didn't give us any hope. When I went to the doctor, they thought I blew the disc out the base of my neck. And after they had me do a test, they, through process elimination, found out that it was the shingles. And we doctored and spending so much money. And when we heard about Relive, we were just like Andy and Mary Lou. We heard it on the radio. And we called in, and the lady called back. And, I just didn't understand how in the world could this be anything different because it supplemented all of our adult life. And, I just was very skeptical. But I did go to a presentation, and then I brought my husband to another presentation. And we heard those stories, and they really spoke to our heart. And we thought, what if this works? And my husband was just more skeptical because he knew we had no time. And so I said, we just need to, get some products for our family member. He said, no, you don't understand. We need to be at that top profit level because there's a safety net there. You got a 90% one-year buyback. And, oh, my goodness, what if this doesn't work? And then we can get our money back. So that was kind of our thing. But we definitely wanted it for the best price. And if it worked, then we were going to share with people. But, it didn't take long. After we got our order, we got started on those products, and I couldn't keep my mouth shut. And my husband and I were taking the products, enough product, and on a consistent basis. And I can honestly tell you, within 3 weeks, I was adding a couple, 3 hours of sleep to my night. So my days were so much better. And at the 6 to 8 week mark, I had malabsorption from birth. I also had chronic constipation from birth. And I was just devastated because I wasn't able to keep my energy level up. So I had to eat about every 2 to 3 hours just so I could get my nourishment in and keep myself going. And with that, the constipation was so bad that I just couldn't go to the bathroom more than once a week. And I'd have to have an assist for that. And it was like, my goodness sakes, within that 6 to 8 weeks, I was just like, there's something going on with my body. I'd never experienced that before, and that was pretty cool. And, at 90 days, I was totally pain-free, and that was huge. Now, my husband, he was a little different story. It took him considerably more time. He actually had allergies and sinus issues before we got married, and that was 44 years ago. And he had suffered with massive headaches every day. And as he got older, he would get more headaches, and they were 24/7. It ended up that he ended up with sinus infections. Each time he went to the doctor, they put another med on him. It got to the point where he had some side effects to one of the meds, which caused spinal stenosis. His headaches were getting worse, and the doctors just couldn't quite figure it out. So when we were on the Relive products, together, we were not seeing as many results. But when he was able to talk to his doctor and ask his doctor to monitor him while he reduced some of those medications, we saw remarkable changes. And within a month and a half, his blood pressure had gone down to normal. His chronic sinus infection and his impaction were about 90% better. And, he's only had 2 minor sinus infections in the last 20 years. And because of that, we both get quality sleep. We have quality of life now. And 8 years ago, we came home to do this business together. We sold both of our traditional businesses. And I thought, boy, I'm going to do this full time. And then God had another reason to bring us home. My mom had a very bad fall and damaged a lot of ligaments and tendons in her arms and her hands, and I became her full-time caregiver. Relive gave me the opportunity to be her caregiver full-time and to be able to take her to and from her doctor's appointments. And she lived 4 hours away, just one direction. So it gave me the opportunity to not have to talk to my boss and ask for time off. I didn't have to go for another job interview and look for a job. And, my mom and I had 8 great years together. In September of 2014, my mom was 1 month away from being 91. She was diagnosed with small cell lung cancer. My mom was never a person that wanted to take any medications, and she was a little hard to, get her to take a full amount of medication. So the doctors would always say, Adeline, you've got to take all this. And so when she came down with that cancer, they gave her only 6 to 8 weeks to live. And, she took the medications that they put her on. They put her on a bunch of medications when they put her into hospice, and they told her she would live 6 to 8 weeks. And she was dehydrated so bad from some of the medications they had her on, and we bumped her up on the products because she just didn't want to take products either at that point in time, but then she did take them. And when she took them, she just got a great quality of life. She was back up and walking and moving around again. And, she had clarity of mind up to the day she passed away. She passed away a year and 2 months later. I had my mom for a full 8 years. We became the best of friends. But, the great part of it is she had a quality of life that she enjoyed being around. And, you can't put a price tag on that. But what we do know is, Relive doesn't cure anything, but what we do know is it gives you that quality of life, and it gives you that opportunity to be the best you can be while the Lord keeps you here. So we've made as high as $2,250 a month. We love what we do, and, as we now have more time, we're taking vacations again, and we're enjoying life together, but we're also expanding our business, and that income's only going to continue to grow as we share it with more people, because every dollar represents a life being changed. So we'll always do Relive.
That it does, Darla. Every dollar is someone's life being changed. And I think that's important for us all to remember. And I want to thank you so much for sharing tonight what the difference this has made for your family, and the fact that you got to spend that time with your mom and develop a closer relationship and all. That's just fantastic. And give her that quality of life. That's great. Well, thank you so much for sharing with everyone tonight.
You bet.
Christy and Gary Yo, I understand that you're with us here somewhere.
Yes, we are.
Thank you. This is Christy and Gary Yo from Pennsylvania, and they have had some great results with Relive as well.
Well, I'm going to let my husband go ahead and speak first. So here's Gary.
Okay. Gary,
Hello.
thank you. Welcome you to the call.
Thank you very much. I am a martial artist. I've been doing martial arts for almost 27 years now, and through most of that time, I used to wear 5 braces. I had some severe injuries to both knees. My ankles were excessively sore and wouldn't support me very much, and I shattered my one wrist, fell off a ladder, so I had pain just about in all parts of my body, including my neck and my lower back. I used to wear 5 braces, which whenever I was doing martial arts, it was very cumbersome, and my techniques were not very good. So whenever I started to relive, I noticed immediately that a lot of my aches and pains started to go away. And I eventually got rid of all my braces, including the $1,000 knee
Wow.
brace. It's like a robotic knee brace. What I found out was that by taking the product, and I take quite a bit, is that my flexibility, and due to the fact that I was not in pain, I was actually able to increase my level of techniques and stuff like that. And I had a lot more endurance. Most people now try to keep up with me, whereas before it was just kind of, I was just there. Now I'm the one that sets the pace, which is kind of a good feeling.
I'm sure.
I also just after doing martial arts and teaching everybody else, I opened up my own martial arts school just this year, January the 4th, as a matter of fact. And being 56 years old, that's quite a feat in itself. And
That's
I'm
fantastic.
also working a lot with children and stuff. I have an adult that has adult ADHD, and he actually is on the product. And I have several other students that are thinking about being on the product, and parents that are thinking about, if it helps me and helps with adults with ADHD, that it might be good to have their children on it.
Sounds like a plan.
Yes, it's always good to have a plan. But, without these products, I wouldn't have the quality that I have right now, and I'll be on the products for as long as I can.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't want you to get off and to go from 5 braces to now you're a leader in your own martial arts school. That's pretty awesome, Gary. Pretty awesome. Thank you for sharing with everyone.
Yeah, most of my students now, they consider me a professional athlete, which I never quite consider myself that, but I guess in a roundabout way I am.
I would say so. Yep.
I'm going to turn it over to my wife.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, my story kind of goes back to 2007, and I had injured myself at a previous job. I fell in a parking lot and tore my rotator cuff. And I went in to have it repaired, and when I woke up from surgery, my arm was paralyzed from the elbow down. The doctor injured my brachioplexus during the surgery and left me paralyzed. So basically, surgery gone bad. It's been now, how many years? 7 years, 8 years, I guess. And it's been a tough road. And in the beginning, I had a lot of pain. My nerves were, even though I had no feeling in my arm, the nerves sent out a lot of pain, and I would be doubled up in pain because the nerves in my arm didn't know how to react, when to act, and so I probably a good 3 months in a hospital trying to get a medication that would be able to help me to do pain control, and I was, just basically told I would have to live with that. And but shortly after, about a year or so later, I started getting these large sores all over my body. The doctors weren't quite sure what they were, but at one time I had over 88 on my entire body.
No. Oh my.
They would be from, head to toe. And but what happened is that it would break open, and then they just would not heal. It was very uncomfortable. They would hurt, and it was embarrassing because it would be in my legs, my arms, and of course, I was always kind of paranoid. I'd wear clothing that would try to hide them. But anyhow, a friend of mine introduced Relive to me, and I was pretty tough. It's like, because I had been at that point, I had been to the Mayo Clinic, I had been to Hershey, John Hopkins, and they really couldn't give me any answers to help me with my arm. And then I'd been to several specialists for the sores, and again, no answers. So I thought, how could this can be any different? And she was persistent, and she got me on calls. And finally, I said, okay, I'm going to try it. About 6 months later, and what I noticed right away was the energy I felt just within about 3 days from taking the product. And this has been about 5 years ago. So we didn't have the Lunarich in our products like we do today. And but I still felt, I had energy. And up until we started taking the products, my husband and I thought we needed to get a new mattress because every morning we would wake up and our backs would be hurting and you couldn't stand up straight. And we just knew it was the mattress because it couldn't be us, getting old. So needless to say, after we started taking Relive, we didn't have that issue. So, we still have that mattress after 5 years. But
I'll tell you, Relive fixed mattresses, huh?
It does. And so anyhow, but just along with the energy, the clarity, the brain clarity that I felt, because of the strong narcotics that I'm on for the nerve pain, I had a lot of brain fog. I didn't realize how bad it was until I started taking Relive, and I just couldn't imagine just the difference. I was even a little nervous about driving or driving long distances. I still don't drive long distances very well, but I can do a lot of my errands, and I watch my grandchildren, and I just have such a much better quality of life than what I ever had before. And what they basically said it was an autoimmune disorder with the sores. But it comes to turn out that about a year ago, the dermatologist said that he's pretty sure that it links to the nerve damage that I have in my arm. Anytime that your nervous system has been damaged in any way, shape, or form, it can just cause a lot of complications elsewhere. So it's sending different signals to different bodies, and it can affect the nerves, especially underneath the skin, which can cause the sores that I currently have. So I take a lot of products every day. I take my Lunarich capsules. I even take my 24K to help me get through some rough days because I do have some breakthrough pain every once in a while. But I also suffer from major depression. The panic and anxiety that I had, anytime someone talked to me about getting another procedure done, I would simply panic because I just did not want to go under the knife again. It's, of course, I will probably always be a little apprehensive about that. But
yeah, I guess, with good reason.
Yes, but, it has helped me so much with my depression. And my anxiety that I once felt. It was hard for my husband to even get me out of the house after my injury, and even years after that. It just, I just felt like I just wanted to stay here. It was easier to stay inside and not deal with anything. And we have a Subway franchise that we own, and that's sometimes not always the easiest thing to do. You got to have to be up there once in a while. But, Relive has made such a difference in our life. And, as long as we are physically and able to take these products, we definitely will be, because we just will not be without the products.
Boy, I don't blame you. Quite a lot of changes there. Now, are those sores gone now, or what's
Well,
happening with those sores?
I do occasionally will get a flare up, and I notice like if I'm kind of stressed out a little bit,
Okay.
I will get a flare up. So, but it has so much better. Like I said, when I first started, whenever I first started with Relive, I had over 88 sores on my entire body. If you can imagine like what a boil looks like, that's what they are.
Oh,
they're
my
very
word,
deep
girl.
and inset, and they're sore, you know, and so when I get one, I just cringe because I know it's going to be there a while. But I mean, I do have a couple right now, but we've been a little stressed out here lately. But you know, things are as long as I can keep kind of things under control and you know, stay on my Relive. I definitely try to double up my shakes whenever, or triple my shakes, I should say, whenever I do have a breakout. But you know, it's
Sure.
ongoing. But you know, it's like anything else. If you stop the products, you know, chances are you're not gonna. Those results that you got are not gonna stay. So you know, it's. But again, you know, the products are like anything else. Our body needs nutrition. It needs that food every